All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 773 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. Not much Georgia Southern talk. I am waiting to get more Georgia Southern football information so we can make some episodes about it. But around this time, you're really not going to hear anything until it get closer to the spring game. So I cannot wait for that. But nevertheless, there's been a lot of talk once again with the Atlanta Falcons. It's around that time of the year for that as well, where you have the coach Raheem Morris. You also have Terry Fontenot. They're in Indianapolis right now for the combine, and Jonnu Smith was just released. So we're going to talk about the free agency situation in Atlanta, and who's left, who can get cut, who can get re-signed, because it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. Also, there's been a report saying that the Falcons have reached out to the Bears about Justin Fields. That is fresh off the press as me, doing this recording. So we'll talk about that at a later time whenever that happens. But yeah, that is interesting. So let's go ahead and get into this. If this is your first time here, welcome. I could be found on YouTube and Rumble, also on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. If you want to watch the show, Spotify and Rumble, I am on those platforms if you want to just watch. If you're listening to the show, you can listen to the show via Apple Podcasts or just on YouTube. I can be found on X or Twitter at VFBaller. The website is firstandframerates.com. If you want to support the show, CashApp and PayPal links are below. Thank you guys for the support. The subscribers are moving up. I really, really appreciate it. Listening on the podcast avenues is growing. 2024 is looking really good. I cannot thank you guys enough. All right, so let's get into this. Jonnu Smith, just out of the blue was released, and I was kind of surprised about it, but then again, I wasn't, because he saved the team almost $7 million. Now you got some other guys that are on here that are probably going to get cut as well, and we're just going to go down this list really quick and just talk about what we have at play. Jonnu Smith is still on this list, but also if you look on sportstrack.com, where I got this information from, it shows you that he was, probably one of the guys that, I think it's been updated by now, that he's one of the guys that's been released. Now, the next one in line that's going to cost the team money is Jeff Okudah. Then you got Calais Campbell, Cordell Patterson, Bud Dupree, Mac Hollins is actually, at 2.5 mil. It's not a bad, re-sign right there. Depends on how much you can give him, but he's at 30 years old. It's kind of be iffy, like how you want to do that. So I'm not going to get into his situation per se, but when you look at the rest of the list, you have Keith Smith, Van Jefferson, Kentavious Street, Scotty Miller, Trey Flowers, McCole Pruitt, which is another pretty good tight end, Cardell Hodge, Matt Hennessy, Joe Gaziano, Logan Woodside is a free agent. That's interesting. Albert Huggins, Ethan Greenridge, Nate Landman. Wow, he's a free agent. We might need to pick him up. Felipe Franks is still on the team. Okay, and Ryan Newsel. Okay, so with that being said, there's nobody on this list that say, oh man, we gotta definitely gotta pick him back up. Now, Calais Campbell has had a pretty good season last year. You would like to get him back. If there's one person I can say that I really would want back is Nate Landman. Nate Landman, you could probably get him for pretty cheap. I think that not cheap, like I'm just saying by contract standards. You can go and bring him back. You probably want to bring back Scotty Miller as well. I'm not sure about the McCole Pruitt or the Jonnu Smith is gone. I don't know about the McCole Pruitt because of the fact that McCole Pruitt is kind of like he was Arthur Smith's guy, just like Jonnu Smith. I don't know if that regime want to bring him back. I mean, he's 31 years old, kind of up there in age. They, in some cases, this team is already somewhat young, and based on what the Falcons are looking at, it looks like they're going to continue to try to, have that young, nucleus and keep those guys moving in moving in that direction. So when you look at somebody like Jeff Okudah, is he worth, the money to come back? I mean, they kind of didn't they didn't go in on his extension, so he's kind of like left out there without just basically a free agent at the end of the year. So now it's time to go in for his another contract, and he's only 25. I don't think he's that bad. He played well when he was on the field. Is that somebody that the defensive coordinator Jimmy Lake wants? Is that somebody that Jerry Gray would want to continue to have on the team? So that is something that you may want to think about as well. I don't think it's a bad look if you bring him back. Don't know how much he'll get. He didn't perform to the top tier to say he wants one of the top contracts, but yeah, that may be somebody. Calais Campbell, I don't mind him come back if he wants to come back. I don't know how much he's going to cost. I'm not going to say money ain't a thing right now because the salary cap is in a good space. They should be okay getting him, getting anybody at this point. So yeah, Calais Campbell, if he wants to come back, I'm not against it. He played very well. Put him in situational, passing downs, and he should thrive. He shouldn't. I don't think he'd be one of those guys to be on the field every single down. I mean, he's almost 38. You might want to just limit his reps to his liking. So that would be a pretty good look. Cordell Patterson, I'm not sure if they're going to bring him back. A lot of people are kind of speculating that he's already out the door, especially by the way that Arthur Smith treated him. You do have a new regime here. Do they go after him? I don't know, man. You already got a couple of good running backs. I feel like Cordell Patterson is a guy that I'm going to be honest with you. I always felt that he was a wide receiver. I mean, him being a running back is cool. Some people say he doesn't run routes well. That's why he said running back. But to me, I mean, look, you're a big physical receiver. I mean, just do some curls and some dig routes. And, I know he can do that. So, but at 32, going on 33, I mean, do you bring him back? I don't know. Bud Dupree had a pretty good year at 31. He's not too up there in age. I like Bud Dupree. What are they going to do in that front seven? And, what do they do there? I mean, Bud Dupree had a pretty good season, but you still have a couple of guys that can play the outside. But also think about this. They're running a 3-4 base, so that they could use him. Mac Hollins, I already talked about him for a short period of time. Keith Smith at fullback. I don't think this offense is going to run a fullback in their offense. I'm going to be honest with you. I think the fullback is kind of moved out of the way when it comes to the offense. Not many teams have a fullback. This may be a team with this new type of offense. We may not have one. I mean, but if we do, I mean, getting Keith Smith, 2.3 mil. I mean, really? I don't know. I mean, what you think? Van Jefferson, I like Van Jefferson a lot. I think he'd do well in this offense because he's he came from the LA Rams. So with this offense, what they have, he should be okay. He has an issue with the drops. Do you re-sign him? We do need receivers. Kentavious Street, I don't think they're going to re-sign him. I just don't. I think there's other pass rushers that are out there that we can get maybe for depth, but I don't see it. Scotty Miller, same thing with Van Jefferson. He was our deep threat last year. He played pretty well at 26 years old. I think he would be a pretty good asset in the slot. I will probably re-sign him, probably get him for 2 or 3 mil, double his money. I think he's done enough to say, hey, I can play with Drake London and Kyle Pitts. I think he done enough. Trey Flowers, I don't know about that. I don't know about him. I'm kind of like on the fence of that one. I'm leaning towards no. Michael Pruitt, you get rid of him, then you only down to one tight end. I think you still have Fitzpatrick on the team, the guy from Georgia. You still have him. But you may want to resign Michael Pruitt, but I look at him in the same light with John O. Smith. I mean, that was Arthur Smith's guy. I mean, do you bring another guy in or, what do you do there? It's pretty interesting. Kadell Hodge, he did okay. I'm leaning towards no. Matt Hennessy, depth-wise, I wouldn't mind having him back at 26 years old. Not a bad look. I can see them probably re-signing him. When you look at Joe Gaziano, I'm leaning towards no. I would be surprised. Logan Woodside has some upside. And I would not be against keeping him, but then again, you still, what's his name? Taylor Heineke can go. Like I said, there's a report that Justin Fields has been, been in the talks with, not in talks, but the Atlanta Falcons have been in talks with Justin Fields based on what I saw on Twitter. So with that being said, do you bring back Logan Woodside? What do Zach Robinson and him think of him? I think he's okay. He's a pretty good project, quarterback. He's done some pretty decent things. Albert Huggins, maybe. Ethan Greenridge, probably. For depth purposes, I do like Storm Norton. I'd rather bring him back. Greenridge is not bad, maybe. Nate Landman, definitely. You go re-sign this guy. You re-sign Nate Landman. That's one you would want to re-sign. Absolutely. Felipe Franks, he can go. Go ahead and get rid of that number 15. Give that to Drake London. And who would be number 5? Bijan Robinson gets number 5. And Drake could get it number 15 back. That would be pretty cool, right? Ryan Newsel, I think he had an injury. Was it him or Hennessy had the injury? One of those guys had an injury, was out for the entire year. Ryan Newsel was pretty cheap, but I can't remember which one had the injury, but he's pretty cheap. I would not be against bringing him back. He was not bad as a backup. So that's pretty much it for looking at the free agents. I don't see nothing wrong with this list of people. I just don't. You got a pretty good list here of guys you can bring back. You got some guys that's probably going to be gone, but none of these guys really scream out like, hey, we need to bring this guy back. You'll be crazy to let Nate Landman walk. After Troy Anderson went down, Nate Landman stepped up big time and done pretty good things for this team in that position. You don't let him walk, especially if you're trying to run a 3-4. You run a 3-4 with him, Troy Anderson. You go and bring back Bud Dupree, and hell, even on the other side, if you want to get Arnold Ebiketie back in here and move him and what's his name, Zach Harrison back and forth throughout that rotation, you got some good linebackers here. You got some really good ones. I would not let Nate Landman walk. I mean, that's one guy you might want to keep home. So I'm trying to think, what does this mean? He's exclusive restricted free agent. So they got a chance of keeping him. Based on what this says, exclusive restricted free agent. So they got a chance of keeping him. Really good chance. So let me know what you guys think. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. There's a free agent list. What do you guys think? Not bad. Not too many needs. Falcons are kind of playing with house money, y'all. They really are. I could be found on YouTube and Rumble. I could be found also on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. If you want to watch the show, watch it on Spotify and Rumble. Listening to it is on YouTube and Apple. I could be found on X at VF Baller. The website is firstandframerates.com. You can also support the show with CashApp and PayPal. CashApp is VF Baller 20, and the website. No, I already said the website. The website for the PayPal is down below in the description. All right, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. Y'all guys enjoy the rest of your day. Y'all take it easy and y'all be blessed. Peace.